Tonight on First Take, see how the nation's booming economy is affecting job growth here in Anchorage. Dozens of people in Alaska were sworn in today as U.S. citizens. Boaters will be heading out this holiday weekend. We have some tips to keep you safe on the water.
And now, from KTVA 11 News, this is First Take at 5.
A huge day on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average topped 17,000 for the first time after a very positive report on U.S. job creation. Good evening, I'm Joe Vigil. More than 280,000 jobs were added to the U.S. economy last month. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And those numbers are right where experts expected them to be. But how are we doing here in Alaska? Across the state, unemployment is in line with the national average, around 6.4%. But in Anchorage, unemployment is well below that. KTVA 11's Kate McPherson joins us with a closer look at what's happening in our economy. Kate.
Well, Joe, the unemployment rate for Anchorage in May was 4.9%, and that's the lowest for this month since 2007. And there are a lot of contributing factors. When you compare this year to last, there are 520 more jobs in retail. Now, that's according to the Anchorage Economic Development Corporation. Statewide, retail jobs are up more than 3% on average, with employment in the food and beverage industry leading the charge. Another significant growth was the information industry, which includes media and telecommunications companies. Employment there is up 3.7% on last year. Now, the oil and gas sector has gained 100 jobs when compared to the same period last year, and the construction industry in Anchorage is also showing growth.
Driving more disposable income among Anchorage residents, and so they're able to spend more discretionary spending, which drives job growth in the retail and the food and beverage sectors.
But local education has taken a hit, especially within the Anchorage School District, and the AEDC says overall government employment has declined by 580 jobs, with losses split between federal employment and the local education. Back to you, Joe.
All right, thanks, Kate. Well, tonight Anchorage police and canine teams are looking for a hit-and-run driver who injured a woman who was out gardening. It happened on Carlick Street. The car crashed through a woman's fence. The fence then hit the woman's head. First responders treated her at the scene. Police are now searching for that driver. He ran from the scene. Well, in a rare move, a tribal corporation endorses a candidate for U.S. Senate. Board members of the Arctic Slope Regional Corporation say they support former DNR Commissioner and Republican Dan Sullivan. The board doesn't usually throw its weight behind a candidate. The ASRC says it believes Sullivan's military experience and history working with the North Slope makes him the best choice for U.S. Senate. Sullivan still needs to make it through the Republican primary, where he faces Lieutenant Governor Meade Treadwell and Joe Miller. Senator Lisa Murkowski met with hundreds of Alaskan veterans to discuss issues with the Mat-Su VA Clinic. Staffing problems have plagued the clinic since it opened in 2009, and veterans are weighing in on the quality of care they're receiving at the clinic. There are two major concerns from veterans. One is the waiting list, and the second is the inconsistent care because of high staff turnover. Senator Murkowski told KTVA that it's inexcusable to have two permanent doctor positions unfilled at the Mat-Su VA Clinic. Chief of Staff for the Alaska Veterans Affairs Healthcare System says recruitment of doctors and nurses is one of the biggest challenges it faces. Well, as we approach the 4th of July, there may not be a better time to welcome new American citizens. More than 50 people from 29 different countries received their citizenship today at the Kincaid Chalet. For many, it was a hard journey, and today was full of celebration and some tears of happiness for the men and women who now call themselves American.
Feel happy, feel like a part of America.
Means everything for my family, for my country now, and that I can vote. I've always wanted to vote, and now I have the opportunity to do so.
And the new Americans had to pass vigorous tests before being accepted as citizens. An emergency fishing order has been issued for Ship Creek in downtown Anchorage. The order closes Ship Creek to sport fishing for all species from its mouth upstream to a cable 100 feet downstream of the Chugach Power Plant Dam. The order will go into effect on Monday, July 7th, and fishing will reopen July 14th. Wildlife biologists say good catches have been reported in the last 3 weeks in Ship Creek, but are slowing as the run winds down. Law enforcement killed a young black bear in Palmer on Monday night. The bear had been spotted several days rummaging through trash in a residential neighborhood. Wildlife officials say it's the first bear in a long time that had to be removed from Palmer city limits. Biologists want to remind people who live in Palmer and the Mat-Su Valley to store trash indoors or in bear-proof containers. Well, state biologists in Nome are using a different tactic to run off a herd of musk oxen. They're using bear urine. Wildlife officials say they see them almost daily now, but they keep coming back. Rubber bullets and firecrackers aren't working, so game experts think that the oxen may be looking for a bear-free zone. So they decided to try placing bear urine in a few small containers where the oxen have been problematic to see if that drives them out. Wildlife officials say they bought the bear urine online. The Funny River Five are on their way to their next big adventure. The 5 wolf puppies were orphaned a little over a month ago in the Funny River wildfire and have since been in the care of the Alaska Zoo. Zoo officials say the cubs spend most of their time outdoors now and are available for viewing during zoo hours. The last day the public will be able to visit them will be Monday, July 14th. Another warm day out today. Let's find out how the big holiday weekend is shaping up. Carlos is here with our first forecast. Carlos.
Yeah, well, for a lot of people, the weekend is already starting, at least in their minds, and it couldn't be better. We're dry in South Central. We do have a lot of sunshine, and here's what it looks like outside. Now, you'll notice we do have those cumulus buildups along the mountains, and there could be a shower out there. It's developing basically because of the heating and the moisture that's melting, the snow that's melting out there. On the satellite radar, you can easily see what's going on. Now, we do have a weak system out in the northern part of Prince William Sound. That one is not dropping any rainfall in Cordova or Valdez at this moment, but there could be some scattered showers over there. So as far as our temperatures go, we are looking at basically temperatures a few degrees today, warmer than yesterday. That puts us at 74 degrees at the Anchorage Airport, 74 as well in Palmer, 75 in Wasilla, and you've made it to 76 in Talkeetna. Now, Homer, still fairly chilly. You've got those onshore breezes that mixes up the atmosphere, and it can't get that warm. 57 degrees. I'm going to come back in a few minutes, and like you said, Joe, we're going to take a look at the forecast for the holiday weekend in detail.
Sounds good. Thanks, Carlos. Again, we are on the eve of the 4th of July weekend. Up next, we have some tips to keep you safe on the water and get a preview of some of the weekend's upcoming events. Today on Wall Street, again, a nice day. Trading closed early because of the 4th of July holiday. The Dow closed above 17,000 for the first time, rising 92 points higher. The Nasdaq gained 28 points, and the S&P rose more than 10 points. Now, here are some stocks of local interest.
You're watching Alaska's high-definition news leader with Joe Vigil, Chief Meteorologist Carlos Fora, and Dave Goldman with sports. This is the KTVA 11 News First Take at 5.
It's almost the 4th of July weekend, and lakes and rivers will be packed with boats. Coast Guard and wildlife troopers say they expect to have their hands full. KTVA 11 Shannon Ballard joins us in the newsroom with some boating safety tips for the big holiday weekend. Shannon.
Yeah, Joe. Well, every summer we talk about boating safety because every summer something bad happens on the water to people who aren't prepared. And what it'll take to keep you safe, according to the experts, is really all about planning. No excuses for not wearing a life jacket when you're on an open boat or the deck of a boat. If you don't have one, there's more than 700 loaner stations set up around the state. It doesn't matter how strong of a swimmer you are or how long you've been boating in Alaska, cold water doesn't discriminate. File a float plan with someone. Let them know where you're going and when you'll be back.
The sign is a great reminder that kids don't float, but neither do moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, so everybody needs to wear a life jacket, especially when on an open boat or on the deck of a boat.
The state also recommends carrying some form of emergency communication or signaling device, and of course, never operate a boat under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Coming up tonight at 6, we check in with the Coast Guard. It's making sure boaters meet all requirements to keep them out of trouble. Joe?
All right, thanks, Shannon.